use Alex as a great example of just really being a student to the teacher you, and really just executing. And like, I mean, he'll make probably 400,000 this year just off his YouTube channel. And it's just pretty awesome to see. And so I know you're more than YouTube, but I would just love for you to just kind of, where what are we seeing? What are we hearing out there kind of as the state of real estate these days?
The one thing that I love that you just actually said was like, you're like, he's making 400,000 off of just YouTube. So the thing that I always like to ask people when I'm working with them, whether it's in the coaching program or even as an agent, is like, how do you want this lead generation tool to like be a part of your business? So the really cool thing is, just imagine you're saying like he's making 400, not only 400, but 400. To a lot of people that are making 100,000 or 50,000 or 200,000, they're like, shoot, I would love to make 400K. So like my wife is a great example of like, I love her story because she uses it as a lead generation tool. She films every other week, only one weekday every other week. She makes 2 videos at a time. She has a videographer that does the editing, the posting, the thumbnail, and everything. He's my director of agency. And she generated last year almost 400,000 in GCI. The leads call an agent, another agent, not her. He answers the phones. He onboards the clients using our system. He closes the deals. He came from an industry making 50, 60 grand a year. So now he's making 200K, she's making 200K, and it's a win-win for both of them. And she doesn't have to do anything besides show up for one day every other week, film 2 videos, follows our structure, and bounces. So like, I always ask agents, like, what is the direction you're wanting to go? Because I do think it's a massive leverage piece. But I also I see it on the flip side where they're like, I'm filming for 25 hours. I got like a 10-minute video and I'm not generating any deals. And it's like, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I've actually heard that story multiple times. And I'm like, yeah, because every platform is designed for a specific reason. And you have to understand what that reason is for. And then you have to make the content. So when you're talking about Alex switching direction, he was doing like faceless style content. He wasn't building a brand for himself or like a relationship with the audience. So I know it's kind of like a painful struggle to start the other way or to shift it because you're trying to retrain the algorithm for a little bit of time. But then once that happens, you build a very loyal fan base. Mm-hmm. And for me, I look at all social media platforms into 2 categories. They're either educational or they're entertainment. So a lot of the short form stuff, which is, I was just on a call before this, talking to a group about the way that all the platforms play together. And I use short form content as like a brand identity play. It's like where people can go see what we're doing and it attracts people into our ecosystem. Now, if they want to go and learn about like what we actually do and how you can inject that, whether it's into real estate, relocating, or if you're an agent wanting to learn, that's where you go to our long form. So everything is in the hierarchy of content play. So I do see the world shifting all the time. The one thing I do love is YouTube long form, which is my bread and butter, has always played the same role for the most part all along. It's just the consumer behavioral change that we've had to adjust for. So if you met us 7 years ago, we were anti-home tour. That we were like, home tours, nobody wants to know about it. But that was before COVID, and everybody was buying small homes, tiny homes, and they wanted all of this travel freedom. They wanted all of this freedom. Location to them was more important than anything. Fast forward through COVID, what we realized is the consumer and the behavior changed of the consumer, where they started now work from home. They wanted all of this space, and a lot of people wanted to move away from these bigger cities because they wanted this, whether it was like health, they were health conscious. They didn't want to be around people. They thought all these things were happening. And their house became their number one priority. So we identified that really quickly, and we started to shift our focus into like more expansive home tour style videos. Even in the Instagram world now, I'm seeing a big shift, which I'm really liking, this whole like Reels ad situation, where it's like they run their reel, see which one gets the most views, and they put a little bit of ad spend behind it, and then they'll be like, tell a story and say like, comment relocation guide, and then they'll have like a mini chat bot set up into that, and then it like sends that consumer into their drip. And that's a very low barrier entry to generate leads of people like looking for those tools and resources, which we kind of do it the same way, but like in the long form world. Mm-hmm. And now we do a little bit of that integration with Instagram as well, but there's a lot of moving pieces into it. And another big opportunity I see is like, I hear this from big team leads all the time and brokerage owners is like, yeah, we tried all of that social media stuff and it just didn't work. And I'm like, well, tell me about your process and your system. And they're like, oh, well, we had a social media manager and, we let them deal with it. And I'm like, well, that was the problem, is they wanted them to deal with it. They wanted them to do the filming, the posting, and then they wanted him to be an expert in all the fields, but only wanted to pay him 50 grand a year. And then they didn't build a system and a structure beneath them as well, or they had an agent that did the filming and then they bounced out. And, I could go into the depths of the oceans with that whole structure and how it can be effective and very value added. And I do see a couple of brokerage owners and teams that actually have been very successful with that model, with doing it the right way, in my opinion. But it really just depends. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, is like, how do you want it to play into your business? And then we can start connecting the dots.